today we have with us Karina Cady. Karina is Operations and Investment Director of Circulate Capital. Circulate Capital is an investment management firm dedicated to financial innovation, companies and infrastructure that prevent the flow of plastic waste into the world's oceans while advancing the circular economy. In her role as Operations and Investment Director, Karina leads impact and manages monitoring and reporting processes. Karina has implemented environmental management and sustainable development programs across Asia, Africa, and Europe for over 16 years. Karina's work in environmental advocacy and public-private partnerships has been recognized by regulators as well as several industry coalitions. So thank you, Karina, for joining us.
You're very welcome. It's great to be here.
So Karina, I would love to hear, how was your experience of mentoring the teams here at Startup Weekend Singapore Seeds of Tomorrow, and what did you enjoy the most about it?
So I mean, I think it's great to still be able to hear new ideas of spaces that I haven't given thought to before. Sometimes it's really easy to get almost disillusioned with these type of events, and I think just because you hear the same idea a lot over and over, but I think that what's been great and really refreshing are some of the new angles. I think that the way that the questions are being asked and what they're seeking is evolving. I think over time, the audience, the participants are getting, I think, spending much more time sort of researching, understanding their why, figuring out what are they actually trying to solve for. And so it's great to see how that's evolved in time.
Okay, that's fantastic. So my second question for you would be, in a hackathon like Startup Weekend, where many participants are meeting each other for the first time, forming teams and pitching a startup idea in 54 hours, what do you think they should spend the most time and energy on so that they can ideally, make a solid impact during the final pitches?
So I think definitely having that strong opening of what are they trying to solve for. I mean, I think a lot will want to show and spend time on what's their product going to look like, what's the user interface, which is all definitely also needed. But that's a lot of effort that goes into a pitch that might not be able to land well if it's not clear, within the first 20 to 30 seconds of the conversation of why they're here, why their solution is a differentiator, and how, if it's something that they themselves might have wanted to have used in either previously or currently, how it changes their interaction with what is the status quo. Because they themselves can demonstrate the use case, right? Right. They can show, I think sometimes people are trying to do research, it's really helpful just as a grounding point of how would this change my behavior? Would I use that? What would I need to see as a customer? How would I sign up to this? And so all of those questions should be really clear, succinct, and known before sort of thinking what would the user interface actually be for this.
Right. That's a great tip. And then just the last question would be that, beyond just Startup Weekend and beyond hackathons, but this is more of a general question really, what would be your top 3 tips for aspiring startup founders, especially the early stage ones, on how they can get started on their business ideas, test them, and really kind of go about building their businesses?
I think so. Firstly, you need to get used to hearing the word no a lot. It can be really hard to keep motivated in all of this. And, as a lot of these ideas develop, someone might not understand what you're trying to say, but you feel really passionate about it, and it can be really frustrating. So you might hear no a lot, but just because someone said no to you, a few months ago when your idea was in a certain stage doesn't mean that you can't go back to them as they've evolved. A lot of even other entrepreneurs in the space, or even and a lot of funders in the space, they expect that ideas will and should evolve over time. So, think of those opportunities as a way to either build mentoring connections. You really want to be able to strengthen those relationships in that space. So that would be then the second thing, of every engagement that you have with someone who could potentially, provide you funding or granting or etc. You never know where that might lead. So just because they are saying no to you, still try to focus on that relationship and think of then also other relationships that you might have that you can lean on to help you strengthen your ideas. And I think that the third thing, also then linked to both 1 and 2, is that it does take time to really build trusted relationships. It can be really exhausting. It feels that you can be spending so much time and so much draining. You're hearing all this no, you're speaking to all these people and you don't see it going anywhere. You have to listen to those signals if you feel like you are being run down. The single most important thing to the success of your venture is your ability to still push it through. So don't forget to just take some of that time for yourself to recharge when you need to.
Great, Karina, that's great. So it's not a no, it's just a not yet, keep pushing. Thank you so much, Karina, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.